Kate Bennett stared at the red warning lights flashing across her control panel. The colony administrator had seen many problems during her 5 years on Kepler Prime, but nothing like this. The massive alien fleet on her screens made her stomach twist with fear. How many ships? She asked Ryan Walsh, the colony's defense coordinator. Ryan checked his readings again, hoping he had made a mistake. 212 vessels. All of them big. All of them armed. Kate closed her eyes for a moment. New Haven Colony had 12,000 people living on Kepler Prime. They had come here to mine the rare metals, buried deep in the planet's crust. The work was hard, but the pay was good. Families had built lives here. Children played in the settlement's parks. Old folks sat on porches watching the double sunset each evening. Now alien warships filled the space above their world. What do they want? Kate asked. The lithium-7 deposits, Ryan said. Our scanners show they're Zephyrian ships. Intelligence reports say they need the metal for their weapons. Kate had heard of the Zephyrians. They were a warrior race that took what they wanted. They did not ask nicely. They did not negotiate. They simply arrived and conquered. Send out the distress signal, she ordered. Full spectrum broadcast. Tell everyone we need help. Ryan nodded and began typing on his console. The message would go out to every human world, every space station, and every ship within range. It would also reach the Galactic Council, though Kate did not expect much help. From them, the communication room buzzed with activity as technicians worked to boost the signal. Every person in the room knew their lives depended on someone hearing their call for help. Message sent, Ryan reported. It should reach the nearest human worlds in 6 hours. Kate looked at the tactical display again. The alien fleet was still. 4 days away from reaching their planet. 4 days to evacuate 12,000 people with only 3 small transport ships. It was impossible. Start the evacuation anyway, she said. Get the children and elderly out first. Ryan began coordinating with the security teams. 50 guards would try to organize the evacuation of an entire colony. Kate knew it was hopeless, but they had to try. The first response came from the transport. Ship Mercury's Dream, 3 systems away. Captain Johnson's voice crackled through the speakers. New Haven, this is Mercury's Dream. We're changing course to assist. Will arrive in 8 days. 8 days. The aliens would be here in 4. More responses trickled in over the next few hours. A cargo hauler promised to come help. A passenger liner offered to take refugees. But all of them were too far away. None would arrive in time. The message Kate feared most came 12 hours later. Ambassador Veltar of the Centauri Federation appeared on her screen. The tall, blue-skinned alien wore the formal robes of the Galactic Council. Administrator Bennett, Veltar said in his cold voice, the Council has reviewed your request for assistance. Kate felt a spark of hope. Maybe the Council would send help. Kepler Prime lies outside protected space, the ambassador continued. The Council cannot commit resources to defend unregistered colonies. This is a regrettable but acceptable loss. The screen went dark. Kate stared at the blank display, feeling anger rise in her chest. 12,000 human lives were acceptable loss to the Council. Any word from Earth? She asked Ryan. He shook his head. The signal will take 3 days to reach Sol System. Even if they respond immediately, no ship could get here in time. Kate walked to the window of the control tower. Below her, the colony bustled with activity. People were packing belongings, loading children onto the few available transports, and trying to stay calm. She could see fear in their faces, but also determination. These were frontier people. They knew how to face danger. The colony's 3 patrol ships launched from the spaceport. The small vessels looked like toys compared to the approaching alien fleet, But Security Chief Danny Rogers insisted on making a fight of it. Kate admired his courage, even as she feared for his life. Administrator called Communications Officer Lisa Park from her station. "We're getting strange readings on the deep space sensors." Kate hurried over to look at the displays. Far beyond the alien fleet, something was moving in hyperspace. The readings were faint and unclear. "Could be more aliens," Ryan said grimly. "Or maybe help," Lisa suggested hopefully. Kate studied the readings. They showed ships, but the signatures were strange. Unlike anything in the databases. She made a decision. "Send another message," she ordered. "Broadcast on all frequencies. Tell whoever is out there that we're human colonists under attack. Tell them we need help." As Lisa worked to send the message, Kate returned to the window. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of red and orange. Soon, darkness would cover the colony. In 3 days, the alien fleet would arrive. Thought about the strange readings on the sensors. Something was coming through hyperspace, racing toward their system. Kate did not know if it was friend or enemy, but it was their only hope. The evacuation continued through the night. Transport ships lifted off, carrying frightened families to safety. But most of the colonists would have to stay and face whatever. Kate remained at her post, coordinating the defense and watching the sensors. The mysterious ships in hyperspace were moving fast, faster than seemed possible. They would arrive before the alien fleet. "Who are you?" she whispered to the darkness of space. Unknown to Kate, her question would soon be answered in ways that would change the galaxy forever. Admiral Jake Morrison sat in his command chair deep in space, far beyond Pluto's orbit. The bridge of the UES Retribution was quiet, except for the soft hum of computers and life support systems. Most people did not know this ship existed. Most people did not know about any of the ships in his fleet. For 30 years, Morrison had been building Earth's secret navy. While politicians talked about peace and cooperation with alien races, he prepared for war. History had taught him that in a dangerous galaxy, only the strong survived. The distress signal from Kepler Prime changed everything. "Admiral," called Lieutenant Commander Beth Cooper from the communications station. "Priority message from New Haven Colony. Emergency Colonial Defense Protocol is now active." Morrison felt his pulse quicken. The protocol had been designed for exactly this situation. A human colony under attack, with no help coming from the galactic community. "Display the message," he ordered. Kate Bennett's desperate voice filled the bridge. Morrison listened to every word, his face growing harder with each detail. 200 Zephyrian warships, 12,000 colonists. The Galactic Council's cold dismissal of human lives. "Sir," said Captain Bill Stevens, Morrison's chief of staff, "Task Force Hammer can be ready to depart in 6 hours." Morrison nodded. Task Force Hammer consisted of 47 warships that officially did not exist. They had been built in hidden shipyards using technology reverse-engineered from captured alien vessels. Each ship was faster, more heavily armed, and better protected than anything the aliens expected humans to possess. "Send the activation codes," Morrison ordered. "All ships are to rendezvous at Jump Point Alpha within 4 hours." Across the outer solar system, hidden bases came to life. Ships that had waited in silence for decades powered up their engines. Crews who had trained for this moment ran to their battle stations. Captain Lisa Rodriguez received the signal aboard the heavy cruiser U.E.'s Thunderstrike. She had been patrolling the asteroid belt, her ship disguised as a mining vessel. Now she dropped the disguise and revealed the sleek, deadly warship beneath. "All hands, this is the captain," she announced over the ship's communications. "We have a code black situation. A human colony is under attack. We are going to war. The crew of the Thunderstrike had trained for this day. They were the best of the best, chosen from Earth's military academies and space service. Every person on board knew that humanity's survival might depend on their actions. Commander Alex Turner commanded a squadron of destroyers hidden near Jupiter. His ships looked like cargo haulers to casual observers, but they carried enough firepower to level the city. Turner was young for a squadron commander, but he had earned his position through skill and dedication. Squadron leaders, this is Turner. He broadcast to his ships. Execute Protocol 7. We launch in 2 hours. The most powerful ship in the secret fleet was the UES Devastator, a massive dreadnought commanded by Captain Roy Campbell. The old veteran had fought pirates in the Outer Rim for 20 years before joining Morrison's project. His ship carried weapons that could crack a moon in half. Campbell studied the intelligence reports about the Zephyrian fleet. 200 ships was a large force, but he had faced worse odds before. The key was not to fight fair. Humans had learned long ago that honor was a luxury they could not afford. As the fleet assembled, Morrison reviewed the tactical situation. Kepler Prime was 8 days away at maximum hyperspace speed. The colony would fall before any conventional rescue could arrive. But Task Force Hammer was not conventional. The ships of the secret fleet had been designed for one purpose: to reach any threatened human colony faster than anyone thought possible. They used experimental hyperspace drives that pushed the boundaries of known physics. The technology was dangerous, but it gave them the speed they needed. "Admiral," reported Commander Sarah Kim from the sensor station. "All ships are in position. Task Force Hammer is ready for hyperspace jump." Morrison stood and walked to the front of the bridge. Through the main screen, he could see the other ships of his fleet: destroyers, cruisers, and the massive bulk of the Devastator. Each vessel represented years of secret construction and training. "Open a channel to all ships," he ordered. The faces of his captains appeared on smaller screens around the bridge. Rodriguez with her fierce determination, Turner with his quiet confidence, Campbell with his grim smile. These were his people, the guardians of humanity that the galaxy did not know existed. "Ladies and gentlemen," Morrison began, "for 30 years we have prepared for this moment. The galaxy sees humans as weak newcomers who need protection. Today we show them the truth." He paused, looking at each captain in turn. "The Zephyrians think they can attack a human colony without consequences. They believe no one will come to help our people. They are about to learn how wrong they are." Morrison returned to his command chair. "No human colony stands alone while Earth endures. Task Force Hammer will jump to hyperspace in 60 seconds. All ships, prepare for combat operations." Upon arrival, the countdown began. Across 47 ships, crews made final preparations. Weapons were charged. Shields were powered up. Hyperspace drives hummed with barely contained energy. 10 seconds, announced the navigation officer. Morrison gripped the arms of his chair. In a few hours, they would either save New Haven Colony or die trying. Either way, the galaxy would learn that humanity was not as helpless as it appeared. "Jump," he ordered. Space twisted around the fleet as 47 ships vanished into hyperspace. They raced through folded space toward a distant world where 12,000 humans waited for a miracle. Behind them, more ships began launching from hidden bases throughout the solar system. Earth's secret was out, and the galaxy was about to discover what happened when humans went to war. Morrison allowed himself a thin smile. The sleeping giant was finally awake. Battle Commander Vexval stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching Kepler Prime grow larger on the main screen. The planet looked peaceful from space, with white clouds swirling over blue oceans and brown continents. Soon it would belong to the Zephyrian Empire, The massive alien was 7 feet tall with gray skin and 4 arms. His species had conquered dozens of worlds through superior firepower and ruthless tactics. Humans would be no different than any other weak race that stood in their way. "Status report," Vexval demanded in his deep voice. Sub-Commander Krellinax checked his instruments. 212 ships in formation, sir. All weapons systems are operational. The human colony shows no signs of military resistance. Vexval was not surprised. Intelligence reports said humans were new to galactic civilization. They had no real military, just some patrol ships and cargo haulers. The species was known for trade and diplomacy, not warfare. "Have they responded to our demands?" he asked. "The colony administrator refuses to surrender," Krellinax reported. "She insists on fighting to the last person." Vexval made a sound that might have been laughter. Human bravery was admirable but pointless. His fleet could turn their settlement into glass from orbit. No amount of courage could stop Zephyrian firepower. On the planet below, Kate Bennett watched the alien fleet through her telescope. Even from the surface, she could see the dark shapes moving across the stars. 200 ships was more than she had ever imagined in one place. "Any word from the mysterious contacts?" She asked Ryan Walsh. The defense coordinator checked his sensors. "They dropped out of hyperspace 6 hours ago at the edge of the system. But they're not responding to our signals. We can't even get a clear reading on how many ships there are." Kate felt a chill of worry. What if the mysterious ships were more aliens coming to claim their world? The colony would face an even larger enemy force. "Keep trying to contact them," she ordered. "We need to know whose side they're on." Ryan continued sending messages into space, while Kate returned to organizing the evacuation. Most of the children and elderly had been taken to safety, but 8,000 colonists remained on the planet. They were the miners, technicians, and security personnel who kept the colony running. Annie Rogers, a security chief, approached Kate with a grim expression. "My people are ready to fight," he said. "We've set up defensive positions around the main settlement. It won't stop an orbital bombardment, but if they try to land troops, we'll make them pay for every meter." Kate nodded. She was proud of her people's courage, even though she knew it would not be enough. The 3 patrol ships had taken position between the planet and the alien fleet, but they were tiny compared to the Zephyrian warships not far above the planet. Vexval grew impatient with human defiance. He had expected the colony to surrender immediately when they saw his fleet. Instead, they continued to send messages demanding that he leave their system. "Sir," called his sensor operator, "we're detecting some unusual readings at the system's edge. The computers are having trouble identifying the contacts." Vexval glanced at the display. A few scattered blips appeared on the long-range sensors, but they were too far away to matter. Probably just background interference or space debris. "Ignore them," he ordered. "Focus on the planet. I want a complete scan of their defenses." The sensor sweep revealed exactly what Vexval expected. The human colony had no orbital platforms, no fighter squadrons, and no heavy weapons. Their 3 patrol ships were armed with mining lasers and basic shields. It would not even be real battle. On the bridge of his flagship, Admiral Morrison watched the Zephyrian fleet through his ship's advanced sensors. The alien vessels were arranged in a standard attack formation, clearly preparing for orbital bombardment. They showed no signs of detecting Task Force Hammer lurking at the system's edge. "Admiral," reported Captain Stevens, "all ships are in position. The fleet is ready for combat." Morrison studied the tactical display. 47 human ships against 200 alien vessels. The odds looked terrible, but Morrison knew something the Zephyrians did not. His ships were designed specifically to fight larger enemy forces using speed, stealth, and superior firepower. Signal the colony, he ordered. Tell them to hold fast. Earth remembers its own. The coded message reached Kate Bennett's communication center within minutes. Lisa Park decoded the transmission and read it aloud with wonder in her voice. Hold fast. Earth remembers. Kate felt tears in her eyes. Someone had come to help them. After all, she did not know who or how many, but Earth had not forgotten its distant children. Broadcast that message to the entire colony, she ordered. Let everyone know help is coming. Across New Haven settlement, people heard the message and felt hope return to their hearts. Earth had not abandoned them. Somewhere in the darkness of space, human ships were moving to defend their world. HFY received reports of the broadcast, but dismissed its importance. Even if more humans were coming, they could not arrive in time to save the colony. His fleet would begin bombardment at dawn, turning the settlement into rubble. Prepare all weapons, he commanded. Target the main population center. We will give them one final chance to surrender and reduce their city to ash. The Zephyrian fleet began moving into bombardment position. Massive weapons powered up, ready to rain destruction on the planet below. The alien commander was confident that within hours, Kepler Prime would be his dot, but in the darkness between the stars. Invisible to Zephyrian sensors, 47 human warships moved like shadows toward their prey. Admiral Morrison had waited 30 years for this moment. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when someone threatened a human colony. The calm before the storm was ending. Soon, space around Kepler Prime would burn with the fury of Earth's wrath. The first sign of trouble came when Zephyrian long-range sensors suddenly went dark. Sub-Commander Krullenax stared at his instruments in confusion as one by one, his sensor arrays stopped working. Sir, he reported to Battle Commander Thexville. We're experiencing system failures across the fleet. Someone is jamming our sensors. Thexville frowned. Humans did not have technology advanced enough to disrupt Zephyrian military systems. Before he could order an investigation, space around his fleet exploded with new contacts. 47 human warships materialized from the darkness like ghosts. They had been using advanced stealth technology to hide their approach, moving closer. While the aliens prepared to bombard the planet below, unknown vessels, came a calm voice over all communication frequencies. This is Admiral Jake Morrison of the Earth Defense Fleet. You have exactly 10 minutes to withdraw from human space before we consider you a threat to be eliminated. Thexville stared at the tactical display in shock. The human ships were unlike anything in his intelligence files. They were sleek, deadly-looking vessels that radiated power. His computers struggled to analyze their weapon signatures. Impossible, he muttered. Humans don't have a military fleet, but the evidence was right in front of him. 47 warships hung in space, their weapons trained on his fleet. The lead ship, a massive battleship, moved with fluid grace despite its size. Sir, Krullenax called urgently. The human ships are moving into attack formation. They're not waiting for our response. Thexville's shock turned to rage. No inferior species had ever dared to threaten a Zephyrian fleet. These humans needed to learn their place in the galactic order. All ships, attack formation, he commanded. Destroy the human vessels. Show them the price of challenging the Zephyrian Empire. The alien fleet began to turn toward the human ships, but they moved slowly. Compared to their opponents, the human vessels darted between the larger Zephyrian ships like wolves hunting among cattle. Captain Lisa Rodriguez led the first attack from the bridge of the UES Thunderstrike. Her heavy cruisers screamed toward the enemy formation at impossible speed, its experimental engines pushing beyond normal limits. Target the command ship, she ordered her weapons officer. Full spread, maximum power. The Thunderstrike opened fire with weapons that had never been tested in real combat. Beams of pure energy struck the Zephyrian flagship's shields, causing them to flare and collapse. The alien ship shuddered under the assault, its hull cracking from the impact. Impossible, Vexville gasped as his ship's systems failed around him. No human weapon should be that powerful. More human ships joined the attack. Commander Alex Turner's destroyer squadron moved like a pack of hunting animals, striking fast and disappearing before the enemy could respond. Each destroyer carried firepower equal to a Zephyrian heavy cruiser, but they were faster and more maneuverable. The U.E.'s Lightning, commanded by Captain Tony Mitchell, dove beneath the alien formation and fired up into their unprotected bellies. Zephyrian ships that had seemed invincible moments before began exploding under the human assault. On Kepler Prime, Kate Bennett watched the battle through her telescopes with amazement. The mysterious human fleet was tearing through the alien. Invaders, like they were made of paper. Explosions lit up the darkness of space as Zephyrian ships died one by one. "My God," she whispered, "where did these ships come from?" Ryan Walsh monitored the combat communications flooding the airwaves. The human fleet moved with perfect coordination, each ship knowing exactly where to be and when to fire. This was not a desperate rescue mission. This was a professional military operation. Aboard the UES Retribution, Admiral Lorison coordinated the battle with cold efficiency. He had studied Zephyrian tactics for years, learning their weaknesses and planning for this exact scenario. "Turner, take your squadron around their left flank," he ordered. "Rodriguez, keep pressure on their center. Campbell, bring the Devastator to bear on their heavy units." The massive dreadnought U.E.'s Devastator moved like a mountain of metal, and death. Captain Roy Campbell had been waiting 30 years to unleash his ship's full firepower. The Devastator's main guns could punch through a moon, and now they turned their fury on the alien fleet. "Fire!" Campbell commanded. The Devastator's weapons lit up space with blinding light. 3 Zephyrian heavy cruisers simply ceased to exist, vaporized by energy weapons beyond their comprehension. The shock wave from the explosions damaged nearby alien ships and sent panic through their ranks. Vexville realized his fleet was being systematically destroyed by an enemy he had underestimated completely. These were not the primitive humans described in intelligence reports. These were warriors with weapons and tactics that outmatched his own forces. "All ships, retreat," he ordered desperately. "Fall back to hyperspace distance." But the human fleet had anticipated this move. Fast attack ships blocked the retreat routes, while the larger vessels continued their devastating assault. The Zephyrians found themselves trapped in a killing field with no way to escape. Captain Jennifer Davis of the destroyer UES Hornet led a group of ships in hunting down fleeing Zephyrian vessels. Her ship was smaller than the alien cruisers, but its weapons could slice through their armor like hot knives through butter. "No one leaves," she announced over the combat frequency. "Anyone who attacks a human colony dies here." The battle raged for 3 hours, though the outcome was clear within the first 30 minutes. The Zephyrian fleet, once 200 ships strong, was reduced to scattered survivors fleeing in terror. Most would not make it to hyperspace. Vexville's flagship was one of the few ships still fighting, though it was badly damaged and drifting helplessly. The alien commander stared at his ruined bridge in disbelief. How had this happened? How had primitive humans defeated his mighty fleet? "Sir," Kreladax called weakly from his damaged console, "the human admiral is hailing us." Morrison's face appeared on the screen, his expression cold as ice. "Battle Commander Vexville, your fleet is destroyed. I'm giving you one chance to carry a message back to your people." Vexville could barely speak. "What message?" "Tell them that Earth protects its own," Morrison said. "Any species that threatens human colonies will face the full wrath of our military forces." The galaxy has been warned. The transmission ended. Moments later, the human fleet allowed the few surviving Zephyrian ships to limp away toward hyperspace. They would carry word of humanity's hidden strength to every corner of the galaxy dot on Kepler Prime. 12,000 colonists emerged from their shelters to see human warships in orbit above their world. Kate Bennett wept with relief as Admiral. Morrison's voice reached the planet. New Haven Colony, this is Earth Fleet. You are safe. No one stands alone while Earth endures. The age of human expansion had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Galactic Council Chamber had never seen such chaos. Representatives from dozens of species argued loudly as reports flooded in about the battle at Kepler Prime. The impossible had happened. Humans had revealed a military fleet that rivaled the greatest powers in the galaxy. Ambassador Veltar of the Centauri Federation sat in stunned silence. Just days ago, he had dismissed human pleas for help as the complaints of a minor species. Now intelligence reports described human warships with technology that surpassed anything the Council had seen. Council Chairman Morgek of the Altarian Empire called for order with his ceremonial staff. The tall, insect-like being had ruled council sessions for 20 years, but he had never faced a crisis like this. The reports must be exaggerated, declared Ambassador Zinder of the Rigel Collective. Humans have been in space for barely 2 centuries. They cannot possibly have developed such advanced weapons. The evidence is overwhelming, countered Ambassador Veltar quietly. My own military observers confirmed the battle results. The Zephyrian invasion fleet was completely destroyed by 47 human vessels. A nervous silence fell over the chamber. The Zephyrians were known throughout the galaxy as fierce warriors with advanced military technology. If humans could destroy their fleet so easily, what did that mean for the rest of galactic civilization? Far from the council chambers, Battle Commander Thexfall sat in the medical bay of his damaged flagship. His ship was one of only 12 Zephyrian vessels to escape the battle at Kepler Prime. The proud warrior could barely believe what had happened to his mighty fleet. Sir, Sub-Commander Krulanax approached his commander's bedside. We're receiving demands for a full report from the High Command. Thexfall closed his eyes. How could he explain that primitive humans had weapons that tore through Zephyrian shields? Like paper? How could he describe ships that moved faster than anything in their database? Tell them the truth, he said finally. Humans are not what we thought. They have been hiding their real strength for decades. Any species that attacks them will face the same fate as our fleet. On Kepler Prime, the victory celebration was just beginning. The colonists gathered in the main square, looking up at the human warships orbiting their world. Children pointed at the lights moving across the sky, while adults wept with relief. Kate Bennett stood on the steps of the administration building, watching her people celebrate. Admiral Morrison had agreed to meet with the colony leadership tomorrow, but tonight belonged to the colonists who had faced death and lived to tell about it. Administrator, called Danny Rogers, approaching with a communication pad. We're getting messages from human colonies across the galaxy. Word is spreading about what happened here. Kate read the reports with growing amazement. On distant worlds, human settlers were standing taller, knowing that Earth would protect them. Colonial governments were requesting information about the secret fleet. Even alien species were sending diplomatic messages, expressing new respect for humanity. Aboard the UES Retribution, Admiral Morrison reviewed the battle reports with satisfaction. Task Force Hammer had performed exactly as designed, demonstrating the effectiveness of 30 years of secret preparation. Admiral, Captain Stevens reported, we're receiving priority communications from Earth. The President wants a full briefing on the fleet's capabilities. Morrison nodded. The secret could no longer be kept. Within days, the entire galaxy would know that Earth possessed one of the most powerful military forces in known space. "Send a message to all Earth colonies," he ordered. "Tell them they are no longer alone. The Earth Defense Fleet will protect every human settlement, no matter how distant." Captain Lisa Rodriguez joined the planning session in the Admiral's ready room. Her ship had taken minimal damage during the battle, a testament to human engineering and tactics. "Sir," she said, "we're detecting movement from several alien fleets. The Draconians are repositioning ships near the border. The hegemony is requesting diplomatic talks." Morrison was not surprised. The galaxy's power structure had shifted overnight. Species that had ignored humanity were now scrambling to understand the new threat or opportunity that humans represented. "Let them wonder," he said. "Fear will keep them honest better than any treaty." The transformation was already beginning throughout human space. On Earth, hidden shipyards were revealing themselves as construction of new vessels accelerated. Military academies that had trained officers in secret were now openly recruiting the best candidates from across human civilization. Commander Alex Turner received new orders, assigning his destroyer squadron to patrol the frontier regions. Similar deployments were happening across the galaxy as Earth's hidden fleet emerged from the shadows to take their positions as guardians of humanity. Captain Roy Campbell and the crew of the U.E.'s Devastator became legends overnight. Video footage of the massive dreadnought destroying 3 alien cruisers with a single salvo spread across human communication networks. Recruitment offices were flooded with volunteers wanting to serve on ships like the DEVASTATOR. The Galactic Council finally voted to send a diplomatic mission to Earth. Ambassador Veltar would lead the delegation, hoping to establish new relationships with humanity's previously unknown military leadership. "We have underestimated them," Veltar admitted to his staff. "These humans may be newcomers to galactic civilization, but they have clearly been preparing for this moment." The ambassador's words proved prophetic. Within weeks, more human fleets revealed themselves throughout the galaxy. Each one was perfectly positioned to defend human colonies and trade routes. A careful planning behind the deployments impressed even veteran military strategists. Admiral Morrison addressed the galaxy through captured communication networks. His message simple but powerful. For too long, human colonies have stood alone against hostile forces. That ends today. Earth will defend every human settlement, no matter how small or distant. Any species that threatens human civilians will face the full response of our military forces. The message was heard on every world, in every language. Humanity had announced its arrival as a major galactic power, not through diplomacy or trade, but through superior firepower and unbreakable determination. On distant worlds, human colonists who had lived in fear of alien raiders now slept peacefully. In the halls of alien governments, officials rewrote their policies toward humanity. The species that had been dismissed as primitive, newcomers was now courted as a valuable ally or feared as a dangerous enemy. The age of human expansion had truly begun. With Earth's fleet protecting them, human settlements spread to new worlds. With confidence, trade routes that had been threatened by pirates became safe under the protection of human warships. And in the depths of space, more fleets waited in hidden bases, ready to emerge when humanity needed them. The galaxy had learned that humans were not as helpless as they appeared. The sleeping giant was awake, and it would never sleep again.